Hello, and finally welcome to the second instalment of the fourth battle in the Monte Cassino campaign. Firstly, apologies for the considerable gap between videos. I had personal things which I got wrapped up in, and then suddenly I realised it was 5 months since I posted the last video. Time really did fly by. I'm going to jump straight in, but it may be worth you revisiting the previous video just to refresh the first phase of the battle. We're just over 35 minutes in, and I've reassessed my initial plan. I have 4 key terrain objectives. 4th Battalion have secured Taylor, and are now advancing along the ridgeline towards Objective Kelly. 6th Battalion, with sapper support, have stalled at the end of the valley, and are unable to advance on Gardner. I've also lost 2 of 4 Sherman tanks to Panzerschrecks. The right flank's attack by A Company of the 17th has been repulsed. I've suffered heavy casualties. My artillery is out of ammo, whilst my HMGs are low and coming under heavy enemy counter batteries. I'm withdrawing my right flank attack, A Company, because they are no longer an effective fighting force. I shall continue my attack with the 4th and the 6th Battalions, and I'll look to probe the left reverse slope of the ridgeline to try and widen my front. Let's continue the battle. On the ridgeline, 6th Battalion probe forward. And at the valley mouth, I send out B Company from 6th Battalion to try and root out the Panzerschrecks. Meanwhile, the Fallschirmjäger are targeting my HMGs with counter battery fire. I order in sappers to bolster B Company. On Snakehead Ridge, the Fallschirmjäger are still dug in. I'm encountering small pockets of stiff resistance, which I have to identify and eliminate. The Fallschirmjäger are well dug in and have a strong in-depth defence. Forcing me to pick them off almost one by one. Sixth Battalion and the sappers are now coming under fire from the defenders of Gardner, in the farmhouse at the end of the valley. The Fallschirmjäger are heavily armed with lots of MG 42s and 34s. With the Panzerschrecks dealt with, I bring up one of the Shermans to support B Company and the sappers. I need to suppress the defenders at Gardner, so I can win the firefight for the mouth of the valley. We are just over 45 minutes into battle, and on my right flank A Company have retreated to a defensive position. I need to suppress the Fallschirmjäger at Gardner that are firing upon the ridgeline. Lee Enfield rifle fire is not enough, so a Sherman has advanced to provide additional firepower. I'm trying to secure a firebase identified by the orange marker. Jerry has a great in-depth defence, with fields of fire across the battlefield. His artillery is also proving extremely effective. I have my forces too bunched together. I've managed to manoeuvre myself into a difficult position, and I'm dangerously exposed to enemy artillery fire. The Fallschirmjäger capitalised on my mistake. I have no choice but to push 4th Battalion forward. They are now coming under fire from forces at Lake. If I can suppress Gardner, I can then try and suppress Lake. I advance my final Sherman. Unsurprisingly, AT fire from Lake. Hit by a recoilless rifle, Sherman bruise up, and the crew bail. As shell-shocked soldiers from 4th Battalion start to recover, they come under another artillery barrage. Further heavy casualties. It takes a couple of minutes for 4th Battalion to reorganise themselves, and as soon as possible I order them to rush forward to try and get them out of the danger zone. They are continuously under harassing fire from HMGs at Lake. The situation is sapping morale, and it's making it difficult to manoeuvre. Further artillery fire. It's on the periphery of 4th Battalion, but it still causes casualties. Some soldiers are panicking. They break, randomly looking for cover, coming under further heavy fire, causing anxiety across the other platoons. My chain of command is starting to become a bit shaky. I try to manoeuvre the 4th Sherman so it has line of sight on the defenders of Gardner, but is out of fields of fire from Kelly. And I try to spread out the rest of 4th Battalion along Snakehead Ridge. fight to suppress Gardner is heavy. Meanwhile, I continue to drive 4th Battalion forward. We're nearly an hour into battle, and Snake's Head Ridge has become a death trap. The Fallschirmjäger hold a reverse slope defensive position on the southern slope of the ridgeline. The ridgeline itself is under repeated artillery bombardment, and 4th Battalion continue to suffer heavy casualties as they try and advance. The 6th are unable to break out of the valley to assault Gardner because of the heavy fire from Lake and Kelly. To make the situation worse, I think I've spotted what looks like a counterattack from the southwest of Kelly. At the moment, I'm unable to identify any change to my plan where I have sufficient force to be successful or to provide a major tactical benefit. I see no alternative to pushing the 4th along the ridgeline to secure Kelly and point 593. The Fallschirmjäger are definitely counter-attacking. I order the remnants of A and B Company to start to dig in. They need to hold the territory they've secured. From further back along the ridgeline, I try to set up supporting suppressive fire. My force is seriously depleted. The ridgeline is scattered with injured and dead. The soldiers along the ridgeline do the best they can to provide fire support for the lead elements of 4th Battalion. The Fallschirmjäger push forward their counterattack. I try to bring up support, but they come under artillery fire. The remnants of 2nd Platoon from A Company and 5 Platoon from B Company are my only defence against the counterattack. "70 minutes into the battle, and the 4th have fingertips on Kelly and Hilltop 593. The battalion is at 40% strength at best, with many soldiers shaken and close to panic. The Fallschirmjäger have staged a counterattack on Hill 593, potentially a company strength attack. The 6th continue to hold the valley opening, however they do not have fire superiority. The red markers identify the primary German defensive lines and the counterattack on Hill 593. I've ordered the 4th to dig in and repel the counterattack. Once this is successful, I will look to continue my attack. What's left of D Company try to provide medium range support against the counterattack. B Company have managed to manoeuvre themselves into a very slight reverse slope defence position. The fighting is fierce and intense. With casualties on both sides. B Company is also under harassing fire from Gardner and Lake. The Fallschirmjäger push hard their assault. I try and bring up what support I can find. It's becoming increasingly difficult to maintain my chain of command. The Fallschirmjäger continue to hammer the 4th Battalion with artillery. The remnants of B and D Company, with sappers from the 5th, are defending the ridgeline against the counterattack. I have no reserves left. This is either hold or fail. The attacking Fallschirmjäger look exhausted, but they continue their attack. We seem to be reaching a stalemate. Support from D Company arrives, so I work to consolidate our defensive position. The scattering of forces holding the edge of Hilltop 593 are exhausted. The Fallschirmjäger counterattack has been stalled, but I don't really have an effective fighting force left. I'm not sure how strong the Fallschirmjäger force holding the hilltop is. The fighting has been fierce, but I have to clear the Germans out of point 593. The forces in support are broken and panicked, with little ammunition left. It's a last-ditch hurrah, a brave dash for victory. Elements from A, B and C Company assault forward. There are Fallschirmjäger positioned on the reverse slope. My casualties make securing point 593 untenable. My attack fails and the Fallschirmjäger deliver the final coup de grace. I've lost nearly 700 men in the battle, around 60% of my entire force, including support and command units. It probably represents about 70 to 80% of my actual combat soldiers. Looking over the battlefield, the Fallschirmjäger look to have a limited hold over the hilltop objective. My final small attack force are in a poor state. The individual Fallschirmjäger units are small but well equipped and still look combat effective. The 4th Battalion are in poor shape and they've taken heavy losses. From reports I've read about the actual battle for Monte Cassino, the real-life results were similar, with entire battalions being almost wiped out on the Commonwealth side. The 6th fared slightly better, but this was because I was unable to really push them past the mouth of the valley. With the battle loss, I'm unable to advance further in the campaign. I did think to replay the battle, but I lost, so I decided to take it on the chin and accept the defeat. Also, whilst I enjoyed the overall campaign, I didn't like it enough to be compelled to play through this battle again. With such a large force, each turn was time consuming to try and review the replay and issue orders. It started to become just a little bit of a chore. I'd certainly pick up the campaign and try again at some later date, but not now. With the defeat, I get an overall campaign draw, which is effectively a loss because we don't get to continue. I hope this isn't too disappointing, but we can't win everything. That's part of combat mission. Thank you to everyone for your patience over the last 5 months. I plan to be active again on the videos, so until the next one, goodbye.